This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
You know that old phrase, rode hard and put up wet? Well, here we are. We are ragged, but we're right.
We showed up.
CMA Fest 2024. See ya. It's in our rearview mirror. Welcome in Magnolia Lobby Studio, Gaylord Opryland. That's our radio and television home for Coffee, Country, and Cody all over the world on WSM Radio. All our streaming platforms you can find at circlecountry.com. You can actually watch at circlecountry.com. So welcome into the television audience. Thank you to Jeff Roberts, Master Control at the Grand Ole Opry House, making it happen. Annie Nye, our studio director. And, of course, she was busy not only here in the studio, but also at the events, some of them that she was covering for our socials. Yeah. You were working as a host at the stadium. I was. And,
yep.
Charlie Mattos was on the Plaza and at the Opry and different places. I did the Opry Country Classics on Saturday with Larry Gatlin. So we are what are we thinking? Why did we come in this week?
I don't know. That's a very valid question.
Shouldn't we put that in our deal?
Our writer?
I don't have a deal.
That's the problem.
That's the deal. We don't have a deal.
Yeah, because we don't have people.
I do. This is
well, like I'm your people, so you guys you're screwed.
Hey,
you don't have
my
a prayer.
people get with your people. Here's Charlie. Yeah. So I will say this is a funny moment. So there was I was inside at Fanfare X at the close-up stage, and all of a sudden here comes Jeannie Seeley and T. Graham and Mark Wills, and I was like, "What are y'all doing?" They said, "We're doing an Opry, like a little Opry, impromptu thing," and Warren Treaty. And I was like, "Oh, okay." And he said, Mark goes, "Yeah, I have to host it." And I said, "You have to host it?" And he goes, "They actually had Larry Gatlin down as the host." And I said, "Well, he can't do this. He's with Bill at the Opry right now." And he goes, "Oh, I know. They double booked him, and Gatlin didn't realize it." So Mark got the call, but he was a great host. Did a little too good, by the way. I'm looking at him. I'm like, you guys... You host too well, you and Keith Urban. I don't like this.
I was going to say, Keith Urban, we were talking about him earlier.
Keith's coming for our job.
Yeah.
Jelly Roll's coming for our job. Ashley McBride's coming for our job. Guys, we need to put together an album, and we need to release it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Do they know about the extraordinary pay cut that's coming with
Clearly
that?
not.
Oh, there is that. There is that.
Can we go back and just for a moment look at, like, Charlie Chase, I know, had an album. It was called My Life, My Wife, because I have it on cassette.
Oh, yeah.
Did Ralph do an album?
Ralph Emery had a single called Hello Fool. It was a follow-up to a monster hit called Hello Walls by Farron Young.
Yes.
So, yeah, Ralph had a single.
Why have we not put out a song yet? We need to do it.
Not very good.
Oh, I beg to differ.
Okay.
Have you heard me?
Yeah.
Yes.
I won a karaoke competition. Thank you very much.
Oh,
and Blake Shelton was the judge.
There's YouTube video of that, people. I'm just saying,
yes.
go find.
I know.
I thought I was really good. Well, anyway, so you come for our job, we're coming for yours, is basically what we say.
Was it Blake says after he's had 2 or 3 Blake-aritas and he goes on, he goes, "I don't know how y'all think I sound, but I think I sound great up here."
I sound great. The funny
my favorite.
The best part about that night was, I didn't know I was singing karaoke. I was just there for the event. They needed somebody to go up, so they tapped me to do it. He turns around and goes, "Oh, no, it's you." And so I'm singing, and no one is clapping. And I look right at him, and I said, "Is this what it's like at your concerts?" He fell out of the chair. So anyway, okay, we got CMA highlights that we're going to get through coming up in entertainment headlines. Also, Kelsey Ballerini taking the big stage. We talked with her for a little bit.
Forever Young. That's a forever song. And Daniel Grindstaff, good morning. Welcome to Coffee, Country, and Cody, heroes and friends. How in the world did you get Paul Brewster and Dolly Parton in the studio to do that?
I'm still trying to figure out how I got Paul.
Is this an East Tennessee thing?
It is. There are so many East Tennessee connections on that song. I had the idea for it when me and my wife got married. We used the song, Rod Stewart's version, in a slideshow for our wedding. And I told her, I said, one day I'm going to record that, and I want to do this version, and there's a guy named Paul Brewster that works for Ricky Skaggs. I want to sing it. Well, that was 13 years ago, this October. Well, I had ran into Paul at the Opry. He was with Ricky. I was filling in with Bobby Osborne probably 5 or 6 years ago. And I said, "Paul, I'm going to do a collaboration album one day, and I would love for you to sing on it." We never even got around to which song it was going to be. And he says, yeah, man, sure, just let me know. And I thought, well, you've agreed to it. That's great. So fast forward, I'd been planning this album for probably a good year. And I called Paul up, and he had moved back to his hometown of Knoxville, and that's where I was recording at with my friend Stephen Burwell. And I said, Paul, man, that album I mentioned to you, oh, yeah, you still willing to sing on it? Sure, what you got in mind? I said, well, I've got this Bob Dylan, Rod Stewart song that you're going to just absolutely nail. He said, who? And Rod Stewart, Bob Dylan. I told him, he said, well, all right, send me what you're thinking. I'll listen to it. He calls me back, and we talk about, the chord we want to do it in and the tempo, which his idea of the tempo was exactly what I had in mind. And he says, well, I'll give it a try. If you don't like it, you don't have to use it, and so on. I'm thinking, okay, sure, So I go in and cut the initial track, and Paul comes in to sing it. And I kid you not, it took longer to drive to the studio and back than it did for him to sing the song. And so
Did you say it was 2 takes?
The version that folks hear there was his second vocal take. That was his second vocal take. When it got to the third chorus, I got to thinking about I'm tenderhearted anyway. I got to thinking about my boys and that last verse, when you finally fly away and all that, and I knew that I had something special. He was just singing as Paul can do, one of my all-time favorite singers, and really one of the greatest vocalists to ever sing bluegrass or country or whatever. He can sing any. This is proof the man can sing anything.
Totally agree, yeah.
Well, it got down to the third verse, and I was sitting there tearing up, and I was looking at the engineer, and and ended, and Paul said, well, is that all right? And I said, yeah. Do you mind to sing it just one more time? Because I thought one more time's all I'm going to get to hear it. And I was so caught up in the moment of him just sitting there, hearing him sing. And so, that was the second vocal take. And I thought, my goodness.
And he knew Dolly. He contacted Dolly, right?
Well, a few days later, I hadn't even got to that point because I was thinking, well, I've got Paul Brewster on here, and that's one of the best things one of the best vocals I've ever heard. And I followed his singing so long, I kind of knew what to expect, but it was even more than that. Just the emotion he put behind there. Paul's got kids, I've got kids, and the lyrics speak to the kid, to the parent, the whole thing, And so Paul called me a few days later. I'd sent him a rough of what we had and told him to listen to it, let me know if he heard anything that he didn't like or whatever. And he called me and he said, I've got an idea. Have you thought through the harmony stuff yet? I said, no, I've kind of put a little thought into it, but not quite. And he says, well, this song needs Dolly. And I hesitated. I said, well, Paul, every song needs Dolly. It's just getting it to her,
Very true.
I said, every song could use Dolly. And he says, no, man, I really, I've followed her for years, and we've sang on she sang on something for me. I've sang on with her, and this would really be right up her alley. And I've got a guy I think will play it for her. I said, well, whatever you want to do, if you would like. If you feel comfortable with that, man, that would be wonderful. Well, the next day, I see a 615 number come up on the phone. Hey, this is such and such with Dolly. Paul said you've got a song we need to listen to. And I thought, what?
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I went through the whole spiel, kind of talking him into it, talking him out of it. Hey, if she doesn't have time,
sure,
don't feel obligated. But you've already got it. Here it is. Here's the rough. I said, the only thing I ask, there's not a bigger Dolly fan in the world than I am. I love her. I love her songwriting, just her work for other people, and the whole 9 yards. If she doesn't like it, please don't call and tell me. Just drop it.
Yeah.
No one will ever know we had the conversation.
This will never be spoken of again.
Well,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
And a couple days later, it's, hey, send it to Dolly's studio. She loves it. And the interesting part is he said, Dolly's always been a Paul Brewster fan. And I thought, wow. I told Paul that. I don't know if he believes it or not. But
sealed the deal, didn't it?
It sealed the deal. And so it was on from there. And I just, seeing all that come together. And what really spoke to me more than anything is the kindness of Paul. He didn't know on the front end, didn't know what the song would do, of Paul to say, you know what, I'm going to make time to do that. I'm going to make time to. That song in that format had been a dream of mine for years. And I'm going to make time to see that through, and we'll go sing it. And, and the same for Dolly. She was right in the middle of recording her double rock album.
How about
and
that?
She worked that song in because it's something she felt like she would want to do.
Well, it's called Heroes and Friends.
Yes.
The album Forever Young is on there with Paul Brewster and Dolly Parton. Daniel Grindstaff is here this morning. Let's go back before we feature and talk about the album specifically and the folks that joined you on it to the beginning for you as a teenager on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry with Jim and Jesse, yes?
Yeah. Yes. The first trip I did with Jim and Jesse was the last half of my senior year in high school.
What a senior trip.
How did you tell your parents?
Well, I said, hey, I've got to go to Nashville, and I'll be back, hopefully, and we'll go from there.
And they were okay with that?
Yeah. Well, my dad's a banjo player, and
So
that's
said,
what,
okay, that's fine.
got me started. I wanted to play banjo. I wanted to spend time with him and learn to play banjo, and I thought the whole time, as I was a kid, I started playing when I was about 12, and I thought, I want to do what those guys do. I watched the Grand Ole Opry every week, all of the shows, Nashville Now, everything I could watch. And I studied my three big banjo players, Earl Scruggs, J.D. Crowe, and Sonny Osborne. I thought, well, I want to be like those guys.
That's a trifecta right there when it comes to the banjo.
At that point in time, Jim and Jesse and the Osborne brothers were up around East Tennessee quite a bit, and I would go out and see them whenever I could. So I knew some of the guys playing with Jim and Jesse, made friends, which I'm still friends with one of the banjo players, Jim Britton, that played with them in between me and one other guy. And so I got worked in and went to Columbia, Mississippi. They had a guy that had give his notice and was working me in to see if I'd work. And we went to Columbia, Mississippi, and then we went to Virginia, and then it was kind of on from there. And it was like, well, what size of boots do you wear, and pants and shirt? And I got work, he eased out, and I come right in.
Well, at least they didn't make you wear the other guy's stuff.
No.
There are bands where you've done that. It's like, this doesn't fit. Well,
I'm not so sure that some of it wasn't Jim Britton's because we're about the same height, but the other guy's about a foot shorter. I don't know how that would have worked.
That's so funny.
And that would have been at the Opry House, your first time, right? Or at the Ryman?
At the Ryman, actually. We
wow.
played the first Opry thing I played was Bluegrass Nights at the Ryman.
Okay.
And then I wound up playing the Opry.
Yeah.
And it was on from there. And I was, of course, the last banjo player before Jim died, and I stayed with Jesse for a couple of years and wound up working some with Sonny and Bobby, and then went with Marty Rabin the last 6 years. I played full-time. Good years, a lot of experience. Very, very thankful. So thankful.
One of my favorite people leads off this album, Andy Leftwich.
Oh, my goodness.
And
Andy plays all over this record. One of my favorites.
Then we've got Trey Hensley,
Yeah.
Ricky Wasson, Doyle Lawson, Jeff Tolbert, Kevin Richardson, all
Yeah.
featured on
Yeah.
this album. But we're going to close with a Jimmy Fortune piece, and it's called "I'll Still Write Your Name in the Sand."
Yes.
Set this up for us.
Yeah, well, that's a song I listened to that Mac Wiseman had recorded. Each song's kind of got a story for me. Two of the songs on the album I wrote for my boys. Finland, with the extra N, is for my oldest son, Finn. 3 Arrows is for Owen. And I Still Write Your Name in the Sand. I found a Mac Wiseman record from years ago when I was 12, 13 years old.
How about that?
And I love that recording, just the whole
voice
recording.
with a heart.
Yes.
Mac Wiseman.
And so I thought, that's a song to kind of bring back. Maybe another generation will hear it and kind of just keep it going.
Not unlike Pat Boone's Love Letters in the Sand.
That's true.
That's
true. And I've always been a huge Jimmy Fortune fan. And my buddy, good friend of mine, Darren Vincent, which just really kind of helped introduce Jimmy and make that connection there. And Jimmy went in and sang it. And actually Darren and Rhonda joining in on the harmony on the chorus.
Oh, how about that?
So they were kind enough to come in and sing the harmony on that. And just absolutely forevermore, just sang as good as anything you'd want to hear. Of course, they don't know any different.
That should have been the name of the album, Absolutely Forevermore.
Forevermore. Yes. Well, I hope anyway, you know.
Heroes and friends, Daniel Grindstaff. Thank you so much for getting up and coming in this morning.
It's an honor to be
Appreciate
here. And thank
your
you.
friendship. Yeah,
thank you for supporting the music.
So we just came out of Carly Pearce. Let's talk about her new album.
Okay.
Hummingbird is out, and I am loving it. I am sure y'all have heard some of it, and hopefully you love it too. I mean, she's already got the duet with Chris Stapleton, which is on this album. Here's a fun fact. If you are watching us right now and you see this image, it is Carly. She looks stunning. She's looking over her shoulder, and there's a hummingbird, and it looks like it's flying away. You want to know? That hummingbird is from Hobby Lobby, and it's on a stick. That's the hummingbird on a stick.
No, don't give away the trade secrets.
She said it. She's the one who said it. She goes, that hummingbird, it's a hummingbird on a stick from Hobby Lobby. She said, and when they took the pictures, it looked so fake they had to blur it to make it look like it was moving.
So, for those of you, for whatever reason, have a need for a hummingbird,
You go to Hobby Lobby.
go to Hobby Lobby. Go.
On a stick.
I know
On a
y'all.
stick.
Yeah, on a
Listen,
stick.
I told-
It sounds like something. It's a
On
menu
a
item
stick.
at the Wilson County
No,
Fair.
it's Jeff Dunham.
It
It's
was
Jose
Jeff Dunham.
Jalapeno
Yeah,
on a
Jose
stick.
Jalapeno on a
Yes,
stick.
yeah.
I eat it on a stick. Yeah. Well, it was so funny too because she said we put that picture up. We did a sit down with her yesterday, and we put that picture up. She goes, "You see that hummingbird? That came from Hobby Lobby. It's a hummingbird on a stick, and she's the one holding it too. So it's like a little puppet. She's looking over her shoulder.
And that picture of her.
So great.
Look at that. You know what?
Stunning.
I hadn't.
Stunning.
She looks like Mona Lisa.
Little bit, yeah.
There's something about her eyes, or just
It's so pretty.
when I looked at that, I went, "Whoa."
It's very pretty. It's a great album. Love so many of the songs on there. The ones that stuck out when I listened to them. Truck on Fire, obviously. We played a little clip of that. She's like, yes, I'm in my burning things down era. And I said, fantastic. Love it. Also, we already mentioned the Chris Stapleton song. There's a song called Rock, Paper, Scissors, which is very poignant. He bought a rock. I signed the paper. Now I've got the scissors, taking them to the sheets. And I'm like, oh.
Oh, I thought she was going to stab him to death. But then again, that would have been that bluegrass. Yeah.
Could have gone another way.
Never mind.
Could have gone another way. Ooh, I love it. I love the melody. I love the hook. I love the idea. Yes. Chef's kiss. Beautiful. So Hummingbird is out now, and our podcast with her will be dropping very soon. So I'll tell you more about that, and you can listen to the full explanation of the hummingbird on a stick.
And Opry.com for tickets regarding her appearance as a fan. If you want to go see Carly Pearce at the Opry, that's next Tuesday. A week
and
from
you're
tomorrow.
hosting that
Yep.
one. I thought I was. You're hosting that one. Okay, so we were there for CMA Fest. All the things, all the stages. All of us, it was like, team coverage. Kind of like when they have a weather event, they send out the A-team.
Oh, yeah. You were like Jim Cantori because you were out near the water.
I was near the water. And there could have been a hurricane that was coming that way. So it was a really fun weekend for all of us. Some of the highlights included being at Nissan Stadium to see people like, I don't know, Kelsey Ballerini taking the stage. It was so fun to see her on that big stage once again because she wasn't here last year. She was on a little tour with a little guy that's from her hometown. I don't know if you guys know him or anything. But here's what she had to say about coming back this year.
I didn't get to play last year at CMA Fest. I was on tour with Kenny Chesney, and I love CMA Fest. I really missed it. And so to be able to bring Welcome Mat to the stage for the first time and just be in it again with the people that love country music the most, it feels like a huge celebration.
It was a huge celebration, and everyone that was in the audience, they were screaming the words back to her, screaming them at the top of their lungs. So that was fantastic. Cody Johnson was fantastic. Jelly Roll and Ashley McBride, love it all. You can watch it all back June 25th on ABC.
And you're rocking your Dolly Parton swag from CMA Fest. That is the Here You Come Again album cover we found out a little earlier this morning.
This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
Under an August Sky from Stephanie Chapman is available everywhere today. And she's only available right now on Coffee, Country, and Cody and WSM Radio Worldwide.
Exclusive.
CircleCountry.com. You
That's
can
right.
stream. All the streaming platforms are there as well. It's just watching it at CircleCountry.com. Good morning.
Morning, guys. Thank you so much for having me in.
Hair looks great, by the way.
Thank you.
I just wanted to let you know.
If you can't see at home, it's a big. My husband said, "I love the Farrah Fawcett thing," and I was like, "I wasn't going for that, but we'll
Take
fine with
it.
that. We'll take it. That's good."
Check. Love that.
And we first saw her with a guitar in hand and her phone in the other and giving the thumbs up. She managed to get all that done. As our special guest a little bit earlier, Grace Humphreys, 16 years old,
I
was
had to
playing
run
and singing.
in and like give her a hug because I have kids now, and I think I scared her a little bit because I was like going right into like mom mode and saying, "You did a great job." You sometimes wonder, how did I do? I just saw her and had to come right away and say, "Great job, you're amazing." She's incredible.
Isn't
I love
she?
talking with her in the green room, and I followed her on Instagram straight away because that's how you keep up with new artists. And yeah, she's going to be great. Grace Humphreys.
Well, your husband, Nathan, worked in a very similar situation with a teenage Taylor Swift.
No one's heard of her though, so we should probably talk about Grace Humphreys. No, exactly. Taylor met her when she was very young too, and just this extra special ability to compose themselves and be in a room is kind of amazing because I
And
don't.
write beyond their years.
Beyond their years, I wasn't that way when I was 16. No,
What were you doing at 16?
climbing trees.
You were in West Virginia?
Yeah, we had just moved to Virginia. We just popped over the border of the Panhandle.
Oh, okay.
It's a big part of my story, actually, because I was an angsty preteen or teen, and my parents said, "We're moving across the state line," and I threw the biggest fit because I just thought West Virginia was the coolest place ever, and it is, and that was my whole childhood, as I talk about kind of, not really in this album, but around the album, a lot of memories and scenery from those formative years, and but Virginia is my home as well. But West Virginia born and partly raised.
Wild and wonderful. I mean, what's not to
Wild
love?
and wonderful. John
Yes.
Denver. I mean,
Yeah,
come on.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, and that becomes your identity. When you're a kid, you don't have anything else to cling to. I mean, you're, 9, 10, 11. Your identity is where you grow up and the people that you're around.
And for me as a songwriter, it really the exterior of my world being like, stray cats and farm fields, and we didn't have a farm. We lived on a rented house on farm land.
Was coal mining near you?
No, that's more like deeper in the Panhandle. This is what we do. You can't see it. But you make the shape of West Virginia when you're learning with like a finger and then a thumb to make the two panhandles.
Yeah.
This is more than we needed this morning, but
That's okay.
right here, there's not coal mining, but it is real rural. So,
On the tip. Okay.
but yeah, do I relate to, Loretta Lynn and Coal Miner's Daughter and anything near Appalachia? Of course, like growing up in the Blue Ridge Mountains, lots of bluegrass, listening to tons of bluegrass growing up.
Who are the bluegrass artists that you remember?
Well, okay, so I'm glad you asked because I actually love a band called The Seldom Seen.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when I hear John Duffy sing, I get real emotional. And I actually am glad I can say that on the radio because I feel like everyone should know who John Duffy is.
Yeah.
And so bluegrass, and like that's why when I come to the Opry and listen and watch or end up backstage sometimes, it's really emotional to think of those days. Actually, I don't think they ever played on the Opry. That's an interesting tale that we'll leave on the floor. But Seldom Seen, Country Gentlemen, they up through Virginia, the bluegrass bands all take a circuit up through there, Luckett's, and I still love bluegrass. I think I'll do a bluegrass album one day, but you'll hear hints.
Well, right now you've got Under an August Sky available wherever you do music. Stephanie Chapman, if you're just joining us. And let me promote her album release show. And Bob Dylan is how old today, Charlie?
I think 83.
Hi, Bob. Are you
83.
listening? I love you.
It was just at Brooklyn Bowl like 3 weeks ago.
I know. Why didn't he invite me?
So, the album release show and Dylan birthday bash, one and the same. 3rd and Lindsley, 7:30. Special guests. Let me run the lineup for you,
it's
please.
nice.
Martina McBride, Grand Ole Opry star. Charles Kelly, Grand Ole Opry star with Lady A. We got Emily West, Wendy Moten, who frequently play the Grand Ole Opry, Maya Sharp, Harper O'Neill, Pat McLaughlin's going to be there, and more.
And more. So many more. Carly Scott Collins is a new artist. A bluegrass band named Troubadour Blue is making an appearance, and a group called Steel Fountain, Haley Steele, and
I remember Haley.
yes, and Jerry.
Yes.
You guys, they're gonna sing Wallflower tonight, even better than you've ever heard it. So yeah, great lineup.
This thing's not going to end until like noon tomorrow.
Don't tell me that. No, I have careful planning. I have rigid. I have lists. I have notes. I
This
have
Mama
rules.
3 is leaving nothing up to chance. Are you kidding?
I'm not nervous about singing. I'm nervous about the timeline. Like, get out there.
Yeah.
But no, it's gonna rock. So.
Do you have a favorite Dylan song, just out of curiosity, or a couple
It's really
that you
hard
could throw
to
out there?
Well, Dylan fans may or may not, if you're listening, Joker Man is one of my favorites.
Oh my God! I literally was going to
bass
say
line.
Joker Man. Yes.
And I love all of Nashville Skyline.
Yeah.
He
He changed his voice a little on that.
He did
one,
like the
though.
crooner
The crooner
thing.
voice, yeah.
I'm a real deep Dylan fan. So you can't he can do no wrong for me.
Yeah.
But there are people who prefer certain eras, and but he's a country guy as well.
Well,
so
then there's my wife, who
Okay,
the
tell
third
me
time I
everything.
took her to see him actually left during like a Rolling Stone and told me, "I will buy you a ticket anytime you want to see him. Just don't
Everybody-
make me go to see him again."
Listen, everybody has a right to their own
Yes.
opinion, and I will just say this: you don't have to be a fan of Bob's artistry. You are a fan of his music, whether you know it or not.
You
so
are.
that's my little
Absolutely.
Bob PSA.
That's an interesting way to say it.
Yeah, because he's touched
True.
literally every market, and
Well-
he's borrowed from every market as well, and he admits that.
Oh.
When
so.
as you said that, I was thinking leopard skin pillbox hat. And
Is that your favorite?
Then got to serve somebody.
Yeah, so good.
Very different periods in his career,
There's
Yeah.
so
and very different messages, obviously.
Blonde on Blonde and Slow Train Coming. Yeah,
some bluegrass.
and very religious.
Yes,
For three
I
for
love
three
it.
records.
It's his gospel stuff is so raw and real and just like profound that it blows me away.
He's using Every Grain of Sand as the set closer for the last couple of tours.
Yeah, I love that one.
So
Oh man,
Well, we're going to feature Cowboys Love Angels. Is that what we're going to feature
Yes,
first?
yes.
Off the record, actually.
Yep.
And
and that's the title track. The line Under an August Sky is in Cowboys Love Angels. That's why it's kind of the title track. to the
I
album.
saw you were adding strings to this. Is this the one that the strings
This
went on?
has strings. Yes,
And
Kristen Wilkinson is a string arranger in Nashville. I'm flabbergasted that I'm remembering these names just on this.
You
on
are
this fly.
on it, sister.
Something's happened to
Yes.
my brain. Yeah, we went and did strings. We brought the kids, and they thought that was really cool. I thought it was really cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. It adds so much.
Yeah.
Makes me think of the olden days of like just big budgets and giant orchestras. Bring them back.
Absolutely.
Bring back the budgets.
Yeah. You listen to that stuff from Sinatra and Dean Martin and Tony Bennett. and
Absolutely.
it's like, how many people did they have in the
It's
studio?
stunning to think about.
Ray Price, even right?
Ray-
To a
oh,
certain
yeah.
extent, they
Yeah,
kept crossing
and
over. Yeah.
everybody got to put strings on
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, every time Ray Price come to town, he called Buddy Spiker and said, get it done. I
Mm-hmm.
think one night we had 7 fiddle players, violinists on
That's what I'm
stage at the
talking
Grand
about.
Ole
I
Opry.
love Ray Price. One of my favorite things to do is go into the Hall of Fame and go in the little Ray Price exhibit and just listen and just it's so moving.
So Charlie Mattos has pointed out for the radio audience and those of you watching the television audience at circlecountry.com, it is a big, big race weekend, Memorial Day always. What time is the Kyle Busch-Ricky Stenhouse fight? That's what I want to know.
I think it's after. Immediately
What
after.
time is that? Is that before, during, after?
I'll
It
say-
happened after the race last week.
I'll
but-
say this: we had better brawls in like the cafeteria in middle school than that, but it did catch your attention. So,
But Kyle Busch's guy, Richard Childress, he's wanting to get a piece of Ricky Stenhouse. He said, I'm too old to fight, but I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready
They
to
just
take
wanted to
him
have
out.
words,
that's right.
chatting. They were all
Well, good morning to Stephanie Chapman.
Good
She's
morning.
in studio with her guitar and her brand new album. We heard Cowboys Love Angels, Under an August Sky, available today wherever you get your music. Tonight, you can be a part of the big birthday release celebration and Bob Dylan birthday bash, and it's all taking place simultaneously, beginning at 7:30 at 3rd in Lindsley, and lots of special guests, including Opry members Martina McBride and Charles Kelly of Lady A.
It's going to be so
love
much
that.
fun.
So, how long have you and Nathan been married now?
Oh, 23 years this fall, I think.
Well, you know what Henry Cho says at the Opry these
Tell
days.
me.
It's 23 years in a row in the music
You know
business.
what?
It's a long time.
You know what? You never know. It's always that thing of like, if you found out you weren't legally married, would you do it again? And then, it's like an I Love Lucy episode where you have to get the marriage certificate. But we're legally married for 20 something years.
And went
awesome.
where? Was it the first date or the first outing
First-
after you were married?
What's that? To go to the Opry? We went to the Opry.
Yeah.
Oh, we got engaged
'Kay.
here in Nashville. And then I said, what are we doing now? And he said, let's go to the Opry. I have tickets. And I said, great. And I went up to the ticket counter and I smacked my little hand down with my diamond ring on it.
Showing it off.
With this ring.
Yes.
And I said, I just got engaged, and also we need to pick up our tickets to see Brad Paisley at the Opry tonight. I will never forget that.
That's amazing.
I know. Pretty great.
And that was your first time seeing the show.
That was my first time because I wasn't a resident of Tennessee yet. I still lived in Virginia. And I was like, this is fantastic. You know, I think the Whites played that night, and I just love the White. I love the Whites.
That harmony is unbelievable.
I love harmonies, and I love that bluegrass, that high mountain sound. Mm-hmm. So it was a good one. Yep, so many memories.
I came across this tidbit knowing that you were coming. It says, the time she met Keith Urban in adult braces and what he said the next time she saw her.
I'm
or he
so
saw
glad
her.
you brought this up.
Oh, good.
Because it's a funny story. And Keith, if you're listening, he's such a dear friend. I do know Keith Urban personally. He's given me many a hug, I'm happy to say.
Smells so good.
But no, I'll make it quick. He smells, you know that too.
Yeah.
He smells so good.
He does.
I was pregnant with my second child, with my son, George. And Bill, thank you so much for telling everyone that I did have adult ortho, but a lot of people do. A lot of people do.
Nothing to be ashamed of.
And
It's on the internet, by
I think
the
I
way.
was like, I did say it. I mean, who am I kidding? I have no secrets. I think I was eating Chick-fil-A. I was like ravenously eating Chick-fil-A. My daughter was taking a nap, and I was maybe 8 months pregnant. And my husband, Nathan, who is a producer, rings up to me, hey, Keith Urban is downstairs recording this song, but it was going to be Miranda Lambert's part. And he's like, he needs to sing with a female because it's throwing him off that the vocal's not on there. I think something like that. So will you come down and sing it? So first, in my mind, I think this is my chance.
Yeah.
Not only is Miranda not going to sing this now because I'm going to get the part. Like, anyway, that didn't happen. But I told Nathan, I said, no, absolutely not. I will not meet Keith Urban under these circumstances. And then I went and brushed my teeth and went down and gave him a big old hug. And the next time he saw me, he said, Steph, you got your braces off, and gave me a big hug. And so that is just the kind of relationship Keith and I have.
Things you learn when people hang out on Coffee Country and Cody. Like our
Only
friends.
here.
Look at those teeth, though. Worth it. Worth it.
absolutely.
That megawatt smile. That's amazing.
And I want to point out before you play live from the album Under an August Sky, Cowboys Love Angels, what you heard and saw was the world premiere.
It really
play
was.
of
Yeah.
that.
But it can continue.
I'm still humming it, which has to be
you.
a great sign. It's like 10 minutes later, that melody is still in my head.
That is
Yeah,
such a compliment.
yeah.
Thank you. And
This is Coffee, Country, and Cody.
All right, we're 10 minutes away from 10 o'clock in the Central Time Zone, America's Music City, Coffee Country and Cody, and it's Monday. It seems like another day, though. Not Monday. I don't know what day of the week it is, but it doesn't feel like Monday just because we've all worked extra shifts and extra days and
Kinda feels-
odd hours that we normally
Maybe like a Wednesday, maybe? I don't know. It's very strange. Yeah, it doesn't have a Monday feel.
The Opry matinee at noon on Saturday.
I bet that threw you
with the
way
light
off.
shining through the window.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful, isn't
and
it?
you start the show and you realize it was just morning a second ago.
Sure.
11:59. Now it's noon, and everybody was a little like. And of course, the crew had worked a 2-show night the night before
Yep.
with Lady Wilson's induction ceremony, and then they were having to load that out to get ready for Sunday morning country.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Which is actually in the afternoon it's a rhyming on
It's a
Sunday.
mess.
But anyway, it was just odd being there at that time. I mean, I love it.
Yeah.
though.
We did our last interview was with Nate Smith. It was at 1:45 and it was inside the Music City Center. And we're like, "How you guys doing out there?" And everybody's like, "Yeah." And I went, "Oh, that's a last day of CMA Fest clap if I've ever heard one. There's not much pep in your step anymore. You guys are worn out."
Larry Gatlin buried that something like that happened during class. He goes, "Well, that was an underwhelming response."
Well, we made it through. We did it. CMA Fest 2024 is in the books. Check mark. It was a really great weekend, especially with the weather that we had, because we usually get at least one day where it's a downpour, some kind of weather delay, maybe a lightning strike out there that we have to postpone for. None of that happened. We had beautiful weather, incredible shows all around, so many stages. I mean, I really have lost track of how many stages that you can hear live music on, but it's a lot.
And many of them are free.
Yes.
I mean, you don't need a ticket to hear a lot of great stuff. That's the cool thing. So
there's this couple from Missouri, Festus, Missouri, with their 2 daughters, and we walked out of the Ryman together after the Opry Country Classic show on Saturday, and we were just small talking, and they had come to town to attend Opry Country Classics. They had no idea that CMA Fest was going on.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And I said, well, you could try to get a ticket to a stadium show or fight that to get over there. I said, but there are stages, to Charlie's point, everywhere. They cost you nothing. You could just stumble from one into another. It's that kind of thing.
The stages that cost the most are the ones that had the merch, because that's where I ended up, and I bought a lot of T-shirts. So I've got new Lainey Wilson gear, a new Carly Pierce shirt, 2 new Dolly shirts. I have an oven mitt. Yeah, I went full in. So I do want to say,
Did you break even
it's
at
a
least?
Dolly Parton oven mitt. I'm just waving.
That's the equivalent of the Grand Ole Opry fly swatter.
You know.
Did you break even at least? You didn't lose money on the weekend, did you?
The jury's still out. We'll find out.
Oh,
Yeah, it was a lot, but I
right.
kind of got into it, and I loved it all. Just
See,
to let
right
you
here,
know.
these are our debits.
Yeah.
And this line over here, this is credits.
Math is hard. I don't know.
You brought back a memory, though, because you mentioned that we didn't have any lightning delays.
Yeah.
When I used to live downtown,
Yes.
they do the big fireworks at the end of CMA Fest.
Right.
Each night show at the stadium. I remember the fireworks going off and waking me up at 1:45 in the morning one time. When they had a delay,
because of the weather
they had
delay.
almost a 3-hour delay, and then
Oh,
they kicked back
wow.
up at like 11:30, and they went to
Yikes.
almost 2. Yeah, it was crazy.
No,
Yeah.
it was a fantastic fest, truly, all the way around. If you want to watch it all, it's going to be on ABC June 25th. Kelsey Ballerini, one of the highlights for me to see her on the Nissan Stadium stage, because she didn't get a chance to play last year. She was kind of busy. Here's what she had to say about it when we caught up with her backstage at Nissan Stadium.
I didn't get to play last year at CMA Fest. I was on tour with Kenny Chesney, and I love CMA Fest. I really missed it. And so to be able to bring Welcome Mat to the stage for the first time, and just be in it again with the people that love country music the most, it feels like a huge celebration.
It was. They were screaming every lyric along with her. Cody Johnson was phenomenal. Jelly Roll was amazing. Jelly and Ashley hosting together. Cody brought Jelly out on stage. I mean, there were all these really fun surprise pop-ups. Little Big Town popped up the night that I was there. So that was out of nowhere. And they did Girl Crush out in the middle of the whole audience. So lots of fun things to be watching for when this airs on ABC. Speaking of Lainey Wilson, you just saw a picture right there with her and Keith Urban. She was the artist of the day on Sunday. Keith did a sit-down interview with her. She was also our newest Opry member as of Friday night. There you go. Lainey Wilson being inducted into the Grand Ole Opry. We had Garth and Trisha doing the honors, and Lainey said in her speech, the best night of her life, a career highlight. So congratulations to Lainey. And then she went out and killed it at Saturday's Nissan Stadium stage, watching her just go for it all the way through. I'm telling you, you cannot miss Lainey Wilson live. She is absolutely owning the stage. Congratulations to Tay from Maddie and Tay. She announced over the weekend she's going to have a baby boy. How about that? Baby number 2, a little boy, coming this fall to the Kerr family. So we are super excited and happy for them. And last but not least, congratulations, Carly Pierce. The new album is out. It's called Hummingbird. It's fantastic. I really, really love this entire album. I've listened to it all the way through. Hummingbird is the last song on the album. Very hopeful, but make sure you don't miss out on Oklahoma.
You were part of the CMA close-up stage.
I was.
Right? Did you get the early access to Carly's closet like you were hoping
I
to?
did not.
Oh, imagine
Daggone
how
it.
much you would have spent there.
Well,
Those are high-ticket items.
That would have
there.
been rough. That would have been rough.
Do you feel vindicated for Garth not verifying you now?
No,
Oh, okay.
actually, no. I'm still a little bitter about
keeping
that.
score.
It's fine.
I like to think it was Las Vegas that didn't verify me. I think Garth would have verified.
Garth would have done it.
Hey, we're back to wrap it up, at least on the television side. We're going to continue on WSM Radio, and all you need to do is go to WSMradio.com or terrestrially at 650 AM WSM. And we're going to encourage you to transition to radio for Shelley Fairchild,
Yes.
who just seconds ago called Charlie Mattos and says, I have messed up. We are planning a reschedule, okay? She got a new single called Faithful to Freedom, playing the Opry Wednesday this week. So a couple of nights away, she'll be at the Grand Ole Opry. And she's also got a hometown date, 3rd and Lindsley, coming in August. But we'll find out more, and we'll let you know when we get Shelley Fairchild rescheduled, because we all love her so much.
Very good. Yeah, tomorrow night, Opry, Priscilla Block, Drew Baldrige, Gary Mulder, Sierra Hull, Kim Ritchie, Riders in the Sky, and Travis Denning.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.